Hello. Hi. How are you guys doing? Hey, hey, hey. All right, you guys. Today is going to be a good one. A good one, a good one, a good one. Okay. So, all right, cool. Today is going to be a good one. I'm excited. You guys definitely go ahead and share this feed. We're going to be talking about the state of the economy. Okay, the state of the economy. And that is a very, very important conversation that we all need to be having right now about what the heck is going on. What does this all mean? Because one thing that I know is that recession always brings about huge opportunities. Recession always brings about huge opportunities. And so we're going to be getting into that conversation today. So go ahead and share this feed with someone. Let them know we are live, we are on, and we are about to get into it. All right, so now let me make sure that you guys can see this. Okay, perfect. Yes. Okay. All right, you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and start like I normally love to start, and that's going to be with prayer. So, Father, we thank you. We bless you. We honor you. I thank you, Lord, for revelation knowledge. I thank you for wisdom. I thank you for understanding. I thank you for answers. I thank you for economic signs, wonders, and miracles. I thank you for wealth strategies. I thank you for the ability to implement and to execute those strategies. I thank you that we have ears to hear. Bring those things to our remembrance that we've heard before, that we need to implement, that we need to run the play with. God, I thank you that all that we put our hands to, it shall prosper and be of good success. In Jesus' name, amen. Okay, well, somebody do me a favor. Hey, Trina, how you doing? How you doing? Okay, so you guys, of course, you know, there's a lot going on in the economy right now, and I want to have that conversation with you because I think it's really, really important because everybody's trying to figure out, like, what am I doing? Where am I going? You know, what should I be paying attention to? Should I be selling my some of my assets right now? And of course, guys, you know, there are like 5 different asset classes, and I think there are still some assets in a bear market, because all that means is the market is down, that we need to be paying attention to. So I'm going to bring my brother on really quickly, Mike Sotero, and we're going to dive right on into the conversation right here. Hey, Mike, how you doing?
I'm good. Can you hear me?
I can hear you good. I can hear you good. Thanks so much for jumping on here today. Can you scoot over just or move your computer
I was
over?
like, oh yeah, I'm going this way.
Okay.
Boom.
Okay. Perfect. Okay, you're center now. Perfect. So thanks so much for jumping on here. I just want to say, like, I'm really grateful. Your story, I think, is amazing because, you know, a few years ago, you really didn't understand a lot about this stuff, but you made a decision that you needed to learn. And Mike, I really feel like we're in a time now where everyone needs to learn, because there are always going to be wars. There's probably going to be some kind of, unfortunately, some kind of pandemic, some kind of shortage. And that's what we pretty much hear on the media. We hear a lot about shortages. We hear a lot about scarcity. But what I want people to know is that during times of shortages and scarcity, there's also huge times of abundance. And there's a time for everything. There's a time to gather, then there's a time to spend, there's a time to invest. And I think if we get the education and we know that, then we can really end up living, you know, very, very abundant lives. And there doesn't have to be scarcity, even though scarcity is around us. So first, what I want to do is ask you, how did you even get started, like, with this whole wanting to be educated about the markets?
Yeah, I just saw, in 2013, I became an entrepreneur, and the whole message was like student loan debt. Student loan debt was like going crazy back then. And I became fascinated with like the markets and entrepreneurship and taking risks. But it really wasn't until 2016, 2017 when I got into crypto that I understood these markets, that I understood like the value of the dollar goes up, other assets go down. And if the value of the dollar, goes the opposite way, then stocks and futures and different markets will do the opposite of the dollar. So in 2017, I got excited about this. I joined our platform. I got educated, But it took time. Really, it wasn't until like 2 years ago that everything started to click because of this education, because of our platform. So it takes time to understand. But I think now it's not even about politics. It's just about being educated on certain things, certain policies that come in place that will hurt people long term, or you'll capitalize long term on them.
Yeah, no, that's really, really good. So 2 years ago it started all clicking, but you
Yeah,
started learning, was it 4 years ago?
about 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah.
And I think, and I'm glad you said that, because I think sometimes when people get started with the educational process, they're like, I want to understand everything overnight. And it's really cumulative. I've
Yeah.
learned so much just from having a conversation here, having a conversation there, having another conversation here. And those things kind of start all tying together, because I think anytime you want to master something, you have to be educated on it, right? If you want to master money, you got to educate on money. If you want to master food, then you've got to, you've got to educate yourself on food. So I think in any area where you want mastery, you have to be willing to say, you know what, let me lean in and let me educate myself. So you started educating yourself, and it started kind of to make sense. And when did you start? Did you start making moves into the market in terms of, would you remember when you first bought Bitcoin?
Yeah, I was buying in early 2017, kind of blindly. I bought Ripple and Litecoin. Those were my first two purchases. But then, really during COVID, when that whole market crash happened, is when I had a lot of money saved up from just sitting on cash, and that's what I really executed. And I bought some Bitcoin. I bought Ethereum at a couple $100 because I knew in times of massive fear there was going to be that opportunity, and it's going to zero or we're going to see some good results. So you got to
Yeah.
take it sometimes.
Yeah, that's good. And so did you start buying Bitcoin blindly because of our network that we're a part of? Or was it something else? What caused you to say, okay, I need to get into Bitcoin?
Well, I knew the purpose of it, the decentralization. You don't have to go through a bank, no third party. So I was buying a little bit of Bitcoin, but Bitcoin eventually, in 19, it got to like 25, 30K. So for Bitcoin to like double or triple or 5x, it needed to go to 90, 120, 150K. So I wasn't really buying Bitcoin. I was buying more Ethereum, and I was buying altcoins because I thought we could have a bigger, ROI. Now, where Bitcoin's going to, it is now time to accumulate more Bitcoin, and that'll be the name of the game in this next bull market.
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely going to be the name of the game. So I think right now, again, during times of recession, during times of shortage, during times of scarcity and fear, that's
Yeah.
when you really kind of need to start moving into the market. So I want to talk a little bit about what's going on with the Feds right now. They've been raising interest rates like crazy, trying to offset, if
Yep.
you will, inflation. What do you think about that? Is that going to work? And what do you think in terms of how people should be moving right now? What are some of the things they should be looking at?
Yeah, let me see if I could share my screen here. Open system. So let me fix the settings on my computer so it allow me. Actually, let me see. Boom.
And I can share too if I need to. Let me know. Uh-oh, we lost him. Okay, he'll come back on. But that's good. This is all a really, really good conversation. Like, okay, well, where we at? What we doing? Because it's a whole lot of fear going on right now. Stock market is down. Every market is down. Even now, we're starting to see real estate that's been going crazy for so long. Bidding wars for probably the last 2 to 3 years. All of a sudden, all the bidding has just totally and completely stopped, right? Now properties are sitting on the market longer, interest rates are going up. So it's forcing people to start to bring their cost of their homes down, right? Which is really what they really wanted to happen. They wanted the cost of those things to go down. All right, so we got Mike back on here.
Sorry about that.
No problem, no problem.
Go. Okay, cool. Let's close this.
Yeah,
Yes, it's a really important time, I think. Let me see if you guys can see the screen. Can you see the screen here?
yeah, let me add it. Bam.
Okay, great. So, a couple key things, and this is just really important to be informed. So, right now, let's just talk this month. I believe the end of July is going to be very important. So a couple key things. July 27th, we have FOMC and federal funds rate. And this is where they come together and they're talking about raising interest rates, a full point. If we see that, then that's bad for anything that has risk attached. So it's not just crypto right now that's dropping, right? If you look at the NASDAQ, we look at US 30, these are all asset classes that have, pulled back in the market. So if we raise interest rates, that's going to push the dollar higher. Now, this right here, this chart is the US dollar. You don't need to know, too much about it. But if this is going up, and I think we can even get up to here, pretty much the last time we were at 117 was in 2002. This would push all markets that have risk, like US 30, like the NASDAQ, like crypto, all down. So on the 27th, we're going to know if we're raising interest rates, if we stay the same or if we go lower, which I think the Fed eventually will do. I don't know if it'll be July. That would give us a nice relief rally. Everybody's expecting it to go higher. So, sometimes it does the opposite and the market tricks everybody. But then the next day, okay, this is actually really important as well, is GDP, right? And back-to-back quarters of negative GDP, then you're going to see the media start to sell the recession, which I think we're already in personally. Inflation is through the roof. Everybody is, paying more for gas and cost of goods. So we'll see. We had the report from first quarter, it was negative. So we'll know on the 28th. And then we have CPI, core price index, again on the 29th. Are people spending money in the economy? And right now, everything's expensive. So it's going to be a volatile July. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, no, this is really helpful. So we're paying attention to July 27th. If the Feds do raise rates, it's going to basically cause a bear market for crypto, NASDAQ, US 30, real estate, which for buyers, that would be good, right?
Yeah.
Right. Buyers would be good. And so, but from what I can see, and you tell me what you think, I still think that you don't stop. Well, when you look at assets, you want to buy them low though, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
especially crypto. Huh?
Yeah, that's exactly what we want.
Yeah. Yeah. It's on sale. It's not the time. And I think what happens is I tell people you only lose if you sell your Bitcoin or you sell your Ethereum. This is not the time to sell. You don't sell when it's low. You actually want to take more aggression towards buying it. Because honestly, now that it's at 22, I'm buying it. If it drops down to 10, which I hope it doesn't, but if it does, I'm still going to keep buying because I know at the end of the day, it's not going to just crash. I still really believe, just based on everything that we know in terms of the blockchain technology, dollar cost averaging, we're still headed to see probably at some point a six-figure Bitcoin.
I agree. There's nothing wrong with Bitcoin. It's actually getting better and actually getting faster, and there's more, miners, and it's more cost efficient, right? The emissions are going actually down, not up. So I agree. Even if Bitcoin were to fall, it doesn't really matter because the end goal, I believe, will still be up here. People forget there's 21 million. There's only going to be 21 million, and the rest are not going to be like created or mined for the next 100 years. So we're going to see a supply shock on all of these exchanges. And it's very important now, if your crypto is sitting on any of these exchanges, to get it off. We could see certain exchanges here, like number 3, go bankrupt here soon. Number 10, go bankrupt here soon. There's some stuff brewing that you want to be careful of.
Okay, so I see what 3 is. Wait, let me see what 10 is now. Wait.
Yeah. This one too is any of them. They're all at risk right now.
They're all at risk. They're all at risk. So really, most people probably need to be moving their crypto over to a nano ledger, maybe.
Yep, I think that's the safe place, the safest place right now for your crypto.
Oh,
That
Nano. That's
change.
where you need to be moving it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Yeah, you need to, yeah. So you need to be moving it over to a Nano Ledger. It doesn't need to stay there. I don't know if I saw, did I see the exchange that starts with an E and ends with an S on there?
Oh, so no, Exodus is a wallet. So yeah, that's better than an exchange because you have your seed phrase.
Okay. Okay. Somebody was just asking. You see that, Melva? She said, even on the Exodus? Okay. All right, great. So yeah, so that's a wallet, not an exchange. Bye, love you. Um, okay, got it. All right, that makes sense. So so is CoinZoom a risk? Somebody said is CoinZoom at risk? I think so.
Anything that has an exchange, I don't know what
Exchange.
CoinZone is, but if you don't have your seed phrase, then yeah, it's definitely at risk for sure. In this market, 100%.
Hmm. Yeah, because what could end up happening, talk a little bit about what happened with, I mean, from what I could see, what happened with Celsius, even if the market goes back up, those people are just in trouble. They're not going to get their money back, their crypto
Yeah,
back.
they're gonna try to work out a deal, but basically Celsius was borrowing too much money. And so Celsius was actually taking money from Aave, which is where people can borrow against their crypto. And they were selling it or giving a higher APY, and they got in trouble, um, basically. And they've been exploited, and now they went bankrupt. I think they'll get bought out. But yeah, if your crypto sitting in Celsius right now, then you're in trouble. Hopefully, there's a buyout, and some people can get something back. But I mean, they mismanaged their money by $1.2 billion. This is not. It's a big money. It's a big problem right now.
Wow. 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 It doesn't look like Nexo did the same thing.
So Nexo seems so far that they've been pretty smart.
Yeah.
They weren't giving crazy APYs, and in the beginning they were, and then they kind of stopped, and they only give APYs on certain projects. But it's all about over collateralization. It's all about what you have in your reserves. These exchanges are getting exposed, like Celsius Network, like Three Arrows Capital, because their reserves, were gone, and they were all borrowing from each other. This like a hedge fund, right? This fund got caught basically borrowing
Mm.
billions of dollars from other exchanges. So they were borrowing from exchanges, and these exchanges were borrowing from other people.
Wow.
It's just huge mess. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. So it looks like Gemini might be trying to figure some things out as well.
I think all exchanges are
All of
extremely at
them.
risk right now. Gemini is firing people. Coinbase is firing people. And the exchanges that are firing people, those are the ones I'd be a little bit okay. Well, why are they doing that?
Mhm.
FTX is actually hiring people right now, and they have $2 billion of capital ready to go.
Mm.
So
Impressive. That's
yeah,
impressive. Somebody was probably a little bit more conservative on the financial department.
yeah,
Um,
this guy right here. This is the owner of FTX. He's the
ah,
youngest billionaire right now, Sam.
wow. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Yeah, and I think it's interesting because I know you and Kurt, I would say you guys like to kind of see who's on the board to kind of see what their spending habits may be, what their history is like, and
Yeah.
you can kind of determine the direction that the company is going to go in based on kind of, where they are. Okay, somebody just said who is hiring again?
So let me see. There's an article here. Let me see if I can pull this up. Decrypt, Coinbase, firing. Yeah, so like a lot of the major exchanges. Let's see if we can find this. This might be it right here. So let's see. So Coinbase is firing people. I know Gemini is firing people. Crypto.com is firing people. FTX was hiring people. Binance was hiring people. Um, let's see if I can find this real quick.
Well, that made me just think about crypto.com. Same thing with them. It's an exchange, so you don't want to leave your money on there.
They're over leveraged, in my opinion. I mean, they've literally, um, they literally have like $1 billion. Here we go. $1 billion in endorsement money out right now between Staples Center and soccer teams. Like, it's literally crazy. So who's firing? Gemini, Coinbase, BlockFi, Crypto.com,
Mm.
Bitso, Bitpanda. I mean, some of these are overseas. OpenSea, right?
Oh,
God, OpenSea. Who's
right.
hiring? FTX, Kraken, Binance, Polygon. So Polygon is, hopefully you guys are paying attention to Swipecoin, because we called this out at 30 cents, and Matic right now, or Polygon, is actually at, I think, 90 cents. It's at 91
Ooh,
cents.
wow.
Yeah.
That's strong. Is that one that you would have that we would have put on MT4 or just as an exchange?
So that would be an exchange. And
Okay.
if you remember what happened with Terra, did you see that, Jewel?
Yeah. Yeah.
So what yeah. So what Polygon did is all of like the ecosystem projects, like they had about 50 projects in
Mm-hmm.
Terra, they're all merging and they're all still building, but now they're building on Polygon.
Mm.
So they like brought over like a whole team of like 50 different projects and games, and um now they're all building on Polygon. Oh, look, XRP is also hiring people as well. Isn't that interesting?
Wow. Let me tell you something. They are like the greatest of all times. They have, gone through all kinds of ups and downs, but I tell you what, whoever is, backing them and behind that, I'm sure you know who they are. They have
Yeah.
done great. Their resiliency is outstanding. What is Ripple sitting at right now, by the way?
Ripple's at 36 cents. You know, we have this pending lawsuit, which is going to send this thing to the atmosphere, in my opinion. And look, even if they lose, they win, because the CEO, Brad Garlinghouse, he's very intelligent. He's already building offices in Canada. He's hiring 500 people for a Toronto office. So
Hmm.
let's say they settle or they lose the SEC case, he's already positioned overseas where he
Hmm.
doesn't have to work with the SEC.
Yeah, right.
So
Period.
that's
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. Do you think you're going to start to see a lot of crypto companies move out of the United States, at least the ones that are here?
Yeah, Ripple's lawsuit is important for all of crypto. So there's a fine line between what's a security and what's a cryptocurrency. We know crypto's a secure. We know Ripple is a crypto, not a security, because the SEC already went through Ripple and they let Ripple go on Coinbase in 2017.
Right.
So even if they settle or they somehow lose,
Yeah.
Ripple can just leave the U.S. and
Yeah.
operate cross-border payments.
Yeah. 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 No, that's really strong. Okay, so to wrap it, okay, you guys, you're asking where should you put your money? He pulled up a nano ledger. Yes,
Yeah.
Ripple is hiring. Let's talk a little bit about gold and silver and real estate, the other
Okay.
assets, right? What do you kind of see is because I think that, like you said, I think a lot kind of depends on what happens July 27th with FOMC, what
Yeah.
they decide on how that, because it's not going to just impact one asset class. I think all asset classes are going to be impacted by it. Do you agree with that?
100%. I do.
Yeah. Yeah. So
So
I get
gold is a risk as well, right? So if we look at gold's chart, sorry about that. Boom. Let's go here. So we look at gold's chart and we saw this like huge run. Let me clear this so you guys can see this. We saw this huge run up from October all the way till February of this year. Gold got to 2,000, right? And then price has now pulled back. I believe we'll see, even like people are like, well, Bitcoin's dropping, gold should be going up. Gold's dropping as well. Gold is dropping right down here, in my opinion, it's about 1,500. So there is no safe place technically in a recession, right? People think gold is the hedge or Bitcoin's the hedge. Anything that has risk, people will be fearful. So when you look at that into like real estate, let's say you have, a community of 100 houses and the average house is, let's just say 700K, but then the recession comes and people start getting fearful. People start taking and selling for 760, 730. I just want to get out, 680. And then the whole value of the neighborhood, right, just starts to go down. People start to foreclose that have multiple properties. I don't think, Joel, it'll be like 2008 because that was a little bit different times. I don't think we'll have a real estate crash per se because, like, in Miami, they're just building everywhere and they're building everywhere, right? And people are moving states. But I think there will be a level of depreciation. And I think there will be a lot of opportunity for people that have cash and crypto in 1 to 2 years from now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And I think which is why it's important, I think, for people to still be accumulating, I think crypto, I think the main two are Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Yeah.
The altcoins, I don't know. Did you see Michael Saylor, Bitcoin billionaire, just purchased another large amount of Bitcoin?
Yeah. He's trying to get it all, to be honest. He wants all the Bitcoin and he don't care what he pays. And countries are buying and institutions are buying, and this is the opportunity for banks and countries to jump in as it's obviously low, and if it goes lower, which I think we potentially could come lower, this could just be a huge trap before later this month, and then we come lower, and all the banks are just positioned to just buy. They're not even buying Bitcoin, Joel. They're buying companies now. They're going to acquire the Celsius networks and these funds and bail people out and take all their crypto.
Right. Because if you're bailing out, all their assets then become your assets.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this is great. Mike, thank you guys. Thank you so much for jumping on here. I hope this helped you guys. This is why I feel like everybody needs to be, connecting. And, if somebody invited you on here, connect with them. If I invited you on, Mike invited you, whoever, like, you really need to connect to a wealth community that really understands what's going on. And it's not just about getting educated one time. It's about continuing to get educated because everything keeps changing. One thing, politics impacts, the news impacts, wars impact, hurricanes, all kinds of things impact. So you have to really stay, if you're serious about growing any kind of wealth, you have to make sure that you really stay on top of your education. You cannot expect to master something that you don't know what the heck is going on. You cannot just listen to CNN and say, oh, they said be afraid. No, because the same people that are teaching you are probably accumulating, right? So there's always another side to it. So Mike, what would be the last thing that you would say? Absolutely, Melva. Melva saying, thank you guys so much. What would be the last thing that you would say to somebody who maybe has been on the outside looking in and hasn't really jumped in?
I would say, I don't like to use the word like regret, but there's windows and opportunity in the world. There was windows in 2009, 2010 for people that were there, people that had cash, people that were prepared. I've been telling people there's two things you can do right now. You can prepare for times that we're about to see, and you can build. You can build your brand. You can build a business. You can start building your account. And regardless, if you think macro, 4 to 8 years, I believe we'll all be in a lot better place. Hopefully the world's in a lot better place, but the opportunity is going to be, it's going to appreciate and you're going to appreciate the timing that you have right now. So just don't be fearful. We live, in a world that will try to sell you fear. You just can't buy it, right? Don't buy the fear and capitalize on it. When other people are fearful, you can be a little bit greedy. And this market right now is going to be very tricky. So it's important that you guys plug into, the team and to Jewel and to the organization, because there's a lot of misguidance going on. A lot of people not showing up anymore because of the bear market. Well, the bear market is how you become successful in the bull market. So, Jewel, thank you for the invite, and I look forward to coming back.
Absolutely. Lawrence Young said, hey, Big Money Mike. Listen, thank you so much for jumping on here. Everybody for watching today. We'll be back on tomorrow at the same time with Curtis Cobain with more tea on the state of the economy. Want to make sure you guys are all the way prepared and ready to go. So thanks, Mike. Have a good one. Bye, everybody.
Yes.
See ya.